It has been more than 2 weeks since the signing of cessation of hostilities between the Tigrayan and Ethiopian governments, and yet the situation on the ground remains dire. International Committee of Red Cross in Ethiopia said that the demand on the ground and the aid being allowed into Tigray is disproportionate. Spokesperson for ICRC in Ethiopia, Jude Fonwi, said on an interview yesterday that the demand on the ground is huge, but the ICRC is trying to meet the needs.
Compared to what we have been able to send in, the needs are huge. The needs are really huge in the region compared to what has come in. But also, I think there are other humanitarian actors. But as the ICRC, what we are doing, looking at the huge needs, is we are prioritizing, because for us it's important that we send that we stop people, that we can help people who are in very critical situations, because for us, what's important for us is that people is to save lives at this point. So we are trying to respond to the immediate and urgent needs, which explains why the medical supplies that came in a few days ago.
Only 2 trucks of medical supplies arrived in Tigray since the signing of the peace agreement 2 weeks ago, and the spokesperson noted that more convoys will arrive in Tigray, and the first humanitarian cargo flight carrying humanitarian supplies will land in Shire in the coming days.
The ICRC sent the first convoy on Tuesday of 2 trucks, initially because for us we needed to test the routes. So we are sending the next truck, hopefully should be leaving here tomorrow. And should arrive in Tigray in the next few days. And this is going to be a much bigger convoy with many more trucks coming in. Also, our first humanitarian flight should be landing with cargo, with humanitarian supplies in the town of Shire. Hopefully one of these days as well, because we completed a test flight 2 days ago. And the reason why we could not airlift cargo immediately is because we have not landed, the aircraft had not landed at the Shire airport for quite some time now. So it was important for us to do a technical and logistical test. So we are starting deliveries by air one of these days, and then the convoy is also taking off. And of course, we have other convoys scheduled from next week.
When asked about the claims by Eider Hospital that essential items were not included in the first convoy, the spokesperson said that the 2 trucks were only sent as trial. The spokesperson also highlighted that the committee is assessing hospitals in Tigray and said the upcoming convoys will be stacked based on the assessment and the needs on the ground.
It was important that once the supplies arrive, it was important to assess the needs first. Okay, and I can tell you that Eider Hospital is one of the 7 hospitals that have been identified that will receive, and hopefully they should be receiving that by the end of today, if they have not yet received already, because I've not been able to talk to our colleagues on the ground in Tigray today. So they were supposed, all the hospitals that were identified, we had already identified 7 hospitals, Adi General Hospital, the Wukro, Adigrat, Mekele, Eider Hospital, Kwiha. So those are the hospitals that we identified based on the needs. And of course, we couldn't send everything at once, because we cannot send everything at once, which is why I told you that we are sending again other supplies coming in. And of course, the other supplies are coming in based on the needs now. Whatever thing we are sending again, we are assessing the needs on the ground and making sure that we send exactly what is needed. So whatever thing was not in the first convoy, of course, that is what we are going to be sending now, because we have also made the assessments. We have spoken to doctors, we've spoken to health experts, and we know exactly what is needed at this point.
Jude Fonwi appreciated both the governments for their commitment for peace and expressed his hope in light of this agreement the ICRC will be able to reach severely affected areas in Tigray that have been unreachable due to the war.
We are just going to continue to provide as much assistance and protection to the people who need it in Tigray. And we understand that the needs are very high. We are going to continue to help the population that is in need of the supplies. We are prioritizing at this stage a response to the immediate needs, because for us it's urgent for people for lives to be saved.